in the bustling heart of a sun-drenched Los Angeles studio, where the air hummed with the electric anticipation of live television magic. The set of the Queen Latifah show gleamed under a cascade of warm spotlights, their golden hues dancing across polished wooden panels adorned with vibrant floral motifs that evoked the timeless elegance of soulful gatherings. Queen Latifah, resplendent in a tailored emerald green pantsuit that hugged her statuesque frame like a second skin, her signature wide-brimmed hat perched jauntily atop her close-cropped curls, strode onto the stage with the effortless swagger of a woman who had conquered worlds. From the gritty streets of East Orange, New Jersey, where she first spit rhymes as Dana Owens, to the glittering podiums of Hollywood where she clutched Golden Globes and Emmys alike, her laugh, deep and resonant like the bass line of a classic hip-hop track, echoed through the studio as she waved to the audience, a sea of faces from every walk of life, their applause thundering like a summer storm over Motown's golden era. "Welcome, welcome, my beautiful people," she boomed, her voice a velvet thunderclap that commanded attention without effort, settling into her oversized velvet armchair with the poise of royalty fitting, given her moniker. The band, a tight ensemble of session musicians with saxophones gleaming and drums poised like coiled serpents, struck up a funky groove, a nod to the R&B roots that bound this moment together. Cameras swept in smooth arcs, capturing the energy, the diversity, the palpable sense that something extraordinary was about to unfold, even as the producers and the control booth exchanged knowing glances, oblivious to the undercurrents of tension that simmered just beneath the surface. Today's guest was no ordinary luminary. It was Gladys Knight, the Empress of Soul herself, whose voice had cradled generations through heartbreaks and triumphs, from the smoky backrooms of Atlanta's Chitlin circuits to the pinnacle of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At 81, Gladys moved with the grace of a willow in the wind, her silver-streaked hair swept into an elegant chignon, her crimson gown flowing like the Mississippi River she so often sang about, a deep, unyielding, full of stories etched in every fold. She had arrived early, as was her habit, sipping chamomile tea backstage while reminiscing with her longtime manager about the days when she and the Pips harmonized under the dim glow of juke joints, their voices weaving spells that turned strangers into family. The makeup artist dusted her cheeks with a subtle shimmer, enhancing the sparkle in eyes that had witnessed civil rights marches, personal divorces, battles with cancer, and the unyielding joy of raising children who now carried her legacy forward. Gladys's mind wandered to her latest album, a collection of gospel-infused ballads that peeled back layers of her storied life, each track a testament to resilience forged in the fires of fame's double-edged sword. As the stage manager cued her entrance, she straightened her posture, drawing a deep breath scented with the faint jasmine of her perfume, a signature blend she'd worn since the 60s, and stepped into the light, her heels clicking a rhythmic Morse code of confidence against the hardwood floor. The audience erupted as Queen Latifah rose to embrace her, their hug lingering a beat longer than protocol, two queens in their domains, bound by the invisible threads of black excellence and the shared language of song. "Oh, Gladys, honey, you look like a dream walked out of my wildest fantasy," Latifah exclaimed, her arms enveloping the elder singer in a bear hug that spoke volumes of admiration, the kind that transcended generations, from hip-hop's firebrand to soul's steadfast anchor. Gladys chuckled, a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze, patting Latifah's back with hands that had once gripped microphones slick with sweat during marathon Las Vegas residencies. "Child, flattery will get you everywhere, but let's keep it real. You're the one turning heads in that suit, makes me wanna dust off my old sequins and hit the floor." The banter flowed effortlessly at first, a warm prelude to what was billed as a heartfelt conversation about legacy, love, and the evolution of black music in an industry still grappling with its shadows. The cameras rolled seamlessly, capturing every nuance of the way Latifah's eyes lit with genuine curiosity, the subtle nod from the director approving the organic chemistry. But as the segment progressed, the questions deepened, probing into territories uncharted on afternoon talk shows, where vulnerability was currency but boundaries were sacred. Queen Latifah leaned forward, her elbows resting on her knees, the groove fading to a soft underscore of piano keys tinkling like distant memories. "Now, Gladys, we've all heard the stories of your hits: A Midnight Train to Georgia, that voice climbing those notes like it was climbing to heaven itself. But let's get personal. You've been through the ringer with family, with the business, even that custody battle back in the day with Barry Hankerson. How do you keep singing through the pain? What's the secret sauce that keeps the Empress reigning supreme? The question hung in the air, innocent on the surface but laced with the weight of public scrutiny. For Gladys's life had been no fairy tale, it was a tapestry woven with triumphs like Grammy wins and inductions, threaded with thorns from divorces, financial woes, and the recent whispers of family discord involving her son and current husband, allegations of elder abuse that had splashed across tabloids like unwelcome rain. Gladys paused, her fingers interlacing in her lap, the ruby ring on her pinky catching the light like a beacon. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes, a flicker of steel beneath the warmth. "Oh, Queen, pain is the price of the ticket, isn't it? You know that better than most." Coming up in hip-hop when they said a woman couldn't hold the mic without holding her tongue. For me, it's faith, family, and the music that pulls me through. That custody fight, it nearly broke me, watching my boy Shanga torn between worlds, but it taught me strength ain't loud, it's quiet, like the space between notes in a ballad. The audience murmured in empathy, a collective breath held, sensing the shift from light-hearted reminiscence to raw revelation. Latifah nodded, her expression one of deep respect, but pressed gently, as hosts do, chasing the emotional gold that ratings adored. "And now, with all that's in the news about your family, the accusations from Shanga about your husband William, those claims of isolation and control, how's a legend like you navigating that storm? Does it ever make you want to step off the stage for good?" The words landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading across Gladys's composed facade. The studio, moments ago alive with laughter, fell into a hush broken only by the faint hum of air conditioning and the distant tick of a clock in the green room. Gladys's jaw tightened imperceptibly, her gaze drifting to the middle distance where memories played like old film reels of Shanga as a toddler, his laughter echoing through her Atlanta home, the courtroom battles that left scars deeper than any lyric could heal, the recent headlines that painted her as frail, a victim in her own narrative, when she felt more alive than ever, touring with her queen sisters, Chaka, Patty, and Stephanie, their voices a fortress against the fray. The audience shifted uncomfortably, a few whispers threading through the silence, while backstage, producers exchanged frantic texts. Too soon? Pull back? But the die was cast, and Gladys, ever the professional, drew herself up, her voice steady but edged with the gravel of lived truth. "Queen, darling, family matters are sacred ground, not fodder for the 11 o'clock news. My son's hurting, I know that, and it wounds me deeper than any critic's pen, but I'm no damsel, I've walked through fires hotter than this. William's my rock, and those stories, they're twisted threads in a bigger weave. Let's not tear laundry when the line's still drying." Latifah, sensing the chill, attempted to pivot with her trademark charm, flashing a grin that could melt glaciers. "Absolutely, CISA boundaries are queenly. Tell us about that tour instead. You and the ladies, slaying stages like it's 1972 all over again. What's the vibe backstage? Any diva moments?" Laughter bubbled up tentatively from the crowd, a lifeline grasped, but the warmth had cracked, a hairline fracture in the porcelain of the interview. As the band eased into a snippet of "If I Were Your Woman," Gladys obliged with a verse, her voice soaring, rich as aged bourbon, wrapping the moment in melody's embrace. Yet, beneath the applause, the tension coiled tighter, an unseen serpent in the garden of goodwill. The commercial break loomed, a merciful pause, but in those final beats before the fade to black, Gladys's eyes met Latifah's across the divide, a look that spoke volumes of respect turned and lines crossed, the first hint of the storm that would soon break. And as the lights dimmed for the break, the studio held its breath, unaware that the Empress was on the verge of reclaiming her throne in the most dramatic fashion imaginable.